Hello, welcome back to Good Morning Greyhounds. I'm Adriana Ojeda.
And I am Erin Rostron.
Joining us today for Good Morning Greyhounds is the director of the UINDY Alumni Association, Keith Fechtman, and Senior Associate AD for Development, Matt Donovan. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing this morning?
Great. Good to be here.
Thank you guys for coming in this morning. We know it's early, but we're excited to talk about homecoming. We got a lot to talk about. I believe we have a homecoming recap of last year's homecoming that we're going to show. We're going to talk about how this year's going to look compared to last year and what that'll mean for you guys.
Completed the portrait for Rob Manuel. This is actually the first homecoming game I've actually been to.
It feels amazing, the Hounds are packing up. We're getting ready to, watch a good football game. Go Hounds! Homecoming! Hounds are gonna win! Go Hounds!
Wow, that was exciting. It sure did make me excited for homecoming this year. What about you?
I cannot wait. Homecoming is my favorite week of the entire school year. I love that it's right at the beginning because it kicks off the entire year. So that was a little bit of what last year looked like. What's going to be new and big for this year's homecoming?
Yeah, so we've got combination weekend this week with family weekend and homecoming weekend. They're usually separate. This year we've combined them together. So we should see lots of students and families on campus. We also have a new president, as you may already know, and she's also going to participate in a lot of these fun events as well. So you'll get a chance to hopefully meet her if you haven't yet.
So what would you say is the most importance of homecoming to UINDY?
I think the biggest thing is you want to try to engage as many people to come back to campus and obviously take part in what's taking place. Clearly, there's a number of events that are obviously taking place on campus, but the key is you want everybody to be on campus. You want everybody to come and be engaged, show spirit, show your crimson and gray, and more importantly, take part in what's really going on, which should be a great, obviously the weather's supposed to be great, it should be a fun day for everybody.
That's awesome. Do you find that there's a particular event that most people, that gets the most people out and going with people coming to campus and staying on campus?
Well, clearly, I think the biggest thing is the games and the activities that are taking place, which obviously we have volleyball Friday, Saturday, soccer on Sunday, and then obviously the football game on Saturday night. Without question, if the day is great, people are going to come and tailgate and be a part of the whole festivities of what's taking place, whether that be the breakfast, the lunch, the tailgating, and obviously the game. So culminating basically everything that's taking place, we want everybody to be a part of it.
What would you say is your guys' favorite event of homecoming?
That's a tough one because there's lots to choose from. I mean, you've got everything from our employee alumni lunch on Thursday. You've got the Hound Hustle, so if you like to run walk, you can do that on Saturday morning. I enjoy seeing the 50-year graduates on Friday night. They get to come back. This year's the 1973 graduates, and we have a dinner for them. And that's always fun to see and see the changes and hear their stories from all the years past and what they've been doing. So that's a fun night for sure.
Honestly, I think the whole week. The whole week is so many activities that are part of the community. You kind of hate to see it come to an end because in essence, there's so much atmosphere and so much enthusiasm. So whether that be what takes place Thursday to what takes place on Sunday, it's something that I think everybody should take a part of.
That's awesome. And you mentioned the 50-year club. I remember I got to go to that event last year, and that is like bringing the people out is like I think what really makes homecoming like homecoming. Like it's the events, but it really comes down to the people, and like that repetition that every year we do this and get together as a big campus. Are there any like particular like traditions like besides the events? There's got to be like traditions that evolve over time. Do you have any favorites or any that are notable?
Well, it's also, as you mentioned, an opportunity for alumni to come back and see the university. So I think the big tradition too is the President's Lunch on Saturday afternoon, and that happens almost every year. And it happens at a place where a lot of alumni know, Good Hall, and we have it usually on the lawn, weather permitting, good weather this year. And so that's a great event. This year we've turned it into a pep rally too, so you're going to get to see the cheerleaders, you're going to see the football team, you're going to hear from some of the football coach and some of the football players, you're going to get to hear the president speak. And it's just a great barbecue style cookout lunch this year.
I want to echo something. Back in the days, graduation was on the lawn in front of Good Hall. So when you really look at what that event is, it brings back a lot of history as well as a lot of memories to people, because that's what graduation was. It was sprawled out right on the lawn at Good Hall. You would go up on the stairs at Good Hall to receive your degree. So we've been fortunate, as Keith stated, that event weather has been so cooperative that it just brings something that's nostalgic to, as we would say, the Indiana Central or UINDY community. So it's great that it continues to happen, but you can't find a better environment.
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I'm definitely excited for homecoming and like doing all of this stuff, and especially the football game, because it's UINDY versus the William Jewell Cardinals. Who do you think is going to personally win this game?
That's probably the easiest question I've had in the last 6 months. The Hounds, obviously. I certainly hope I don't get anybody at William Jewell mad at me for saying that. But yeah, I mean, we've been playing well. Obviously, we're undefeated, number 12 in the country. But you know, got to put your stake in the Hounds.
Yeah. Have you guys been to the games?
Yeah, every one of them. So,
Yeah.
Except for the road games. So all the home games, yes, and some volleyball and soccer. So it's really been, the fall has been great because the success that we've had through all the sports. You know, we've had some student athletes on cross country who just ran personal records, PRs. And so to be able to do that, I think that was their second meet. It's just what you want. You want success, and as we all say, what success breeds success. So it's been a good start for us. And you know, this weekend, if we all can be successful clear across the board, again, success breeds success.
We also have the Tailgate Town, as many of you know. It's a great opportunity to tailgate before the game. And Matt, you want to mention some of the spots there?
Yeah. Tailgating has become, like it is all across the country with college football and college environments, tailgating has become incredibly popular. Keith and I were talking, we only have like 16 spaces left in the main Key Stadium lot for this weekend. So if anybody is interested in purchasing the space, reach out to us as soon as possible so we can get that completed. But as obviously you've seen in the video, the tailgating environment and the atmosphere has really been successful because it's a piece that, again, brings enthusiasm and good camaraderie and a great atmosphere. You really don't like to reference COVID. Pre-COVID, we had some great tailgating atmospheres. This will probably be the best one since 2019. Mm-hmm. Knock on wood, let's hope everything goes well. And, you know, if we can certainly bring more and more people, it'll be a great environment. Yeah.
Do you know if UINDY will host the GLVC game with the championship?
Right now, it's based upon who has the best record as it gets down to the very end. So we run the table, then we would obviously be conference champions. And then what ends up happening is everything is by region ranking. So in Division II,
So are we going to be hosting the GLC championship game?
Well, I don't think it basically goes by record. So who has the best record near the end of the season is deemed who the champion is primarily. So that's what will really kind of take place. So we continue to win. Yeah, obviously there's a good chance we would be conference champions.
That's awesome. So when we get back, we're going to talk to Keith about a little bit more alumni and the homecoming engagement. Thank you so much. So we'll be right back with Keith talking about homecoming.
We'll leave it to our actual athletes. Watch UINDY TV's live sports broadcast on GLVCSN and YouTube.
The first time I went to Lucas Oil was last year for the 6A Center Grove versus Carroll State High School football game. And I walk in this time thinking I know what's going on, thinking I know what's going to happen. And if I were to say that Lucas Oil lost any effect on you, just the pure vastness that it hits you when you walk in, I'd be wrong. And Jace put it perfectly. He walked in and said, wow, this is the dream. And it is, because the people that we look up to listen to a high school football game of the week on WICR HD3 UINDY Radio.
Welcome back. We are with Keith, and we are going to be talking about all things homecoming. What's your role in homecoming weekend?
So my role as the alumni director is to put these events on our website and then make sure that we get lots of registrants for these events. And it's been a lot of fun just talking with past alumni, current students, and trying to figure out ways to make it better than last year. And this year we've got a couple of art opportunities, if that's okay to talk about.
Go
So
for it.
Friday we've got our 100 years of art and design. And they're going to have spin art, so you can make t-shirts there. There's a reception. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So, of course, art and design, you got to make it fun. And then, because it is family weekend as well, we're also going to have a Greyhound cookout and cornhole tournament. So for anybody that's here on Friday night, families, students, alumni, they can sign up for that event. We've already got over 100 people registered for that event. And that'll be at Key Stadium where they play the football game. So that should be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I bet the alumni love getting out and doing those kinds of activities. That sounds like so much fun. So how did you initially start getting involved with the alumni? Where did that start for you?
So I'm a graduate of UINDY. I've gone to UINDY 3 times. We're not going to talk about the first time. The key point is I came back and finished up and got my bachelor's degree here and master's degree. So that's kind of how I started with UINDY.
Wow. I don't know if I could do it 3 times.
I don't recommend it. Just finish the first time.
So obviously, speaking of like graduation with and you become alumni, how important is it for the alumni to be involved?
Yeah, it's super important, and most of our alumni live here in the metro area, so that's our mainstream of where alumni live. And our goal is to just find some opportunities for them to come back and enjoy different events that we host here throughout the year. We brought back the chili supper last year. We're going to do that again. We do a UINDY Day, which is in April. That was a great event this past April. It allows alumni to come back and reconnect in different ways. So that's our goal, is to use these events to bring alumni back, and homecoming is obviously one of the best ones.
Should alumni start getting involved immediately after graduation, or when do you find alumni get most involved?
Yeah, they can. I mean, there's a board that they can get involved with if they feel like they want to get involved right away, or they can wait a certain amount of time. We are in the process of looking at developing chapters. We've never done that here at UINDY, and that's something we've been working on for the past year or so, and we just haven't finalized it yet, but that's one of our goals for this coming up year, is to figure out ways that alumni can come back, join different groups, and be mentors to those groups, be involved with those groups, just do something back to the university.
Yeah. And you mentioned like the groups. Like, can you explain what the groups are a little bit?
Yeah, so sometimes when you leave a university, you know, you get into your job, you get into your family, but you want to do something to give back, or you want to do something to be more involved. So the groups would be more of, like, it could be a soccer group, it could be a Dallas, Texas group, we could have a Northside, Indianapolis Chamber group, or something to that nature. So we're working on, like, where are alumni and where do they want to gather and share stories and be able to mentor each other, those kind of things.
You keep mentioning like mentoring, and mentoring is like a big thing when it comes to alumni and like current students.
Yeah.
What does homecoming like specifically play a role in that, like that mentorship between alumni and current students? Like what's that relationship look like?
I don't think there's a ton of mentoring going on during homecoming. I think it's more of a celebration and meeting past alumni and getting to know past alumni with current students that could be, you know, soon to be alumni. And so it's just a way for them to kind of start their touches, start their getting together and starting to know each other.
So on Saturday, one of the events, there's the alumni music recital. Mm-hmm. What is that?
Yeah, so that's in the Crystal DeHaan Fine Arts Center, and anybody is open to come to that. And what that is a musical showcase of different talents that we have here at the university. There are some alumni that come back that were in the music department that come and play different piano or sing. It's a nice little event to kind of give you an afternoon celebration, if you will.
That's awesome. When you talk about like, you mentioned the reunion event, the 50-year like celebration. Are there any other reunion events, or is it mainly just that 50-year club?
So we have an employee lunch that is on Thursday afternoon. So if you're an employee and you're an alumni, we treat you to lunch on that Thursday afternoon. So that's one of those events. What was the other thing that you asked?
Besides like just the 50 years like celebration, are there like yearly like celebrations, or is it just like the 50-year recognition and then?
Yeah, so once you make it past 50 years, there's also a breakfast, and it's the 50-year club breakfast is what we call it, and it's the Saturday morning, and that invites anybody that has graduated 50 plus years. So every year we do a 50-year celebration dinner the night before Friday, and then the next morning we do a breakfast for anybody that has 50 years plus. So I think we've got a lady that is coming, don't quote me on this, but she's a graduate of more than 60 years ago.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is.
When we get back, we're going to be talking to Matt Donovan, and we're going to be having Person on the Street. We're going to be seeing some of that as well, so stay tuned for that after the break.
I'm Elijah, we're back.
We'll leave it to our actual athletes. Watch UINDY TV's live sports broadcast on GLVCSN and YouTube.
The first time I went to Lucas Oil was last year for the 6A Center Grove versus Carroll State High School football game. And I walk in this time thinking I know what's going on, thinking I know what's going to happen. And if I were to say that Lucas Oil lost any effect on you, just the pure vastness that it hits you when you walk in, I'd be wrong. And Jace put it perfectly. He walked in and said, wow, this is the dream. And it is, because the people that we look up to listen to a high school football game of the week on WICR HD3 UINDY Radio.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming back, Matt.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
So before we talk to you, we actually have a Man on the Street video where we are asking about homecoming. Let's take a look.
I'm Elijah, we're back here with Word on the Street, and we're going to be asking a few people at UINDY about homecoming.
My name is Abby Postma, and I am a master's student here at UINDY.
I'm Elijah, I'm a sophomore. I'm Ben, I'm a sophomore.
I'm Ethan, I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so has anyone ever been to a UINDY homecoming at all?
I have not. I also have not.
Nope.
Steve Magura, I'm a freshman. I do not know what homecoming is.
You don't? So
No.
have you ever been to a college homecoming?
Never.
So a UINDY homecoming is a great just way for students to kind of boost our school spirit and get super involved in our athletics and cheer on our Greyhounds.
Since you haven't been to a homecoming here at all, what do you wish would be offered there that you don't know about yet?
Free food? Yeah, probably free food. Yeah.
I mean, if there's food, I'll be happy to go. No, I mean, like, yeah, the food's a big thing, but I just wanted to be something, like, memorable, you know? Like, something I can look back on and be like, oh, remember, like, during homecoming weekend or stuff like that. Yeah.
So how does UIndy's homecoming compare to like any other homecoming that you've been to?
So our homecoming is a little bit different because we have homecomings throughout the week. We have events leading up into the game day, whereas other schools might just have an event on game day. I'm super excited for Saturday's event. We have a block party, so we'll have food trucks and games, and it's a great way for our students to meet with alumni as well as bring their families along as well.
That's really cool. And so this is the last question. What about the UIndy homecoming process do you wish was offered more at homecoming?
One thing I wish was like students had a little bit more input on what we could do, just because I feel like since it is student-led events, I wish students could, you know, kind of contribute to what they want to see this week.
I would try and organize some kind of giant parade on the street past like Good Hall. I just think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how logical it is. I'm not an event planner, but I think it'd be sick.
I forgot the question. I was zoning out. I'm sorry. As I said, baseball game. Yeah, that's going to replace the football game. Yeah.
I haven't really done like homecoming events, so I don't really know what like goes into that. But like if there's
A parade.
A parade. Okay, yeah, I'll go with the parade idea. That sounds kind of cool.
So I get that you're excited for it. It was nice talking to you, Abby.
Nice to talk to you too, Elijah.
Thank you.
Yeah, make sure you take a cookie.
Oh.
Take a few.
Wow, it seems like that was very interesting to get the students' inputs. A lot of them seemed very motivated by food.
I was going to say, food is a popular thing, so yeah, without a doubt.
But a lot of them were talking about a parade. Has there been a parade before?
There has been. There was a number of years there was a parade that would go down Hannah, turn down State. Some of it would come through the tailgate town area into the stadium. Some of it would go north if it wasn't a part of it. But there was, I want to say for probably about, I'm not going to get the number of years right, but we did have a parade that would take place on homecoming weekend. Yeah, Saturday.
Are we ever going to do a parade again?
That's a question I'm not sure I can answer for you. That's probably something that could be tabled for conversation and discussion. And you know what, the beauty of parades is who's in it, what's in it, and you know what do you construct from that aspect. So I think it's something to table for consideration.
And I know like a lot of the students obviously were saying they like wish they had more input. Is there like a way like students can get like more of their input of like what we want to do for homecoming?
You know, obviously the student affairs area is really important to share kind of that information. Pre-COVID, I hate to bring that back up, we used to have a Hound Pound group, which was really and people would tend to think, okay, that's just athletics. No, it was really kind of for the environment of campus, where whether it be athletic competitions to intramurals, it would be neat to kind of recreate that because that group was very helpful to all of us with rec sports. Athletics is to see what students were really interested in knowing and hearing and what they wanted to be a part of. So it'd be great to be able to have that. But is there that opportunity? Yeah, absolutely.
You keep mentioning COVID, and I haven't even thought about how that would have played an impact on how many students actually come out for homecoming. Have you found that it's harder to get students to come out now that we're back from COVID and we're back to how things were?
I think you're starting to see it a little bit more. It's a little bit of what we would say reset the button, so to speak. Everything that you did before that was a part of your fabric. I mean, you just chose to do it. Then we had this obviously change of times. And now I think we're starting to see that people are starting to resume what they would have done before. But there is some difference, and we'll work through that as best we can.
Now, I want to talk a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Can you describe your role in the development?
Sure. My role, as well as our area, is to really raise funds for athletics. So we're kind of what we would say the external part. So charitable contributions, sponsorships, There could be playing gifts as well, but we're really kind of the external aspect for athletics. So the Greyhound Club is a piece that raises money for athletics. So that's really what our responsibility is. And then really come game day, kind of the tailgating area, tailgate town, is a smidge of our responsibility with everybody within athletics to create that atmosphere we talked about before.
So you keep mentioning tailgate town.
Sure.
That seems to be a pretty big deal, especially.
We'd like to think it is. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always driving past on Saturdays and I see everyone tailgating. What role does that play, in just campus morale almost?
Well, the big part of it is to really bring everybody together and to have a great atmosphere, a great day to celebrate what's taking place. Obviously it's typically before a home football game, but we have found more and more people are just coming to tailgate and they go to a volleyball game, or they're just here to be with their families. So it's really kind of a neat atmosphere from the standpoint, the proximity of where we're at, the convenience, and all the aspects of what, it's a nice big lot. People can get together and enjoy the atmosphere, so to speak. So we've been fortunate that it's been successful, and we hope we can continue to grow it.
You also kept on mentioning a lot of fundraisings. So how important is these fundraisings?
It's critical. You can understand the fundraisers, whether that be our golf outings. Right now we have an online auction taking place. Those dollars obviously help support the 23 programs at UINDY. Not to forget some of the club sports as well. So the key aspect of those fundraisers are really to provide revenue in dollars to help support the success that we have. And the other part of that is the fundraisers are really an engagement part, to find people who really have an interest in being engaged in UINDY, whether they are an alum or not an alum, or a friend or whatever. That's the big part, is to really engage as many people as possible.
And what role does UINDY Athletics specifically play when it comes to fundraising and development? UINDY Athletics tends to play, it seems like it plays a pretty large role.
Yeah, it's hand in hand, primarily. You all laugh, you hear people say, well, when your teams win, you probably raise a lot of money. We'd like to think that, but the key is our job is to really create relationships. The more relationships, the better.
So you said that anyone can get involved with the fundraisings. So can students right now get involved?
Sure, absolutely. They could certainly reach out to our area or myself within athletics, and if they have an interest. In fact, we would love, because it's a great opportunity to provide experience. And the other aspect is, there might be people who want to go in our environment or our profession, and you can't find a better place to learn and get the experience, which is helpful. So we are certainly not going to tell somebody they can't. We welcome it as much as possible.
That's awesome. And how is it how do people, what's that first step to getting involved with that?
I think reach out to our area, express what your interests may be, what you really want to try to learn. And the other aspect of that is, what do you really what do you hope to gain from it? As you can imagine, anytime have that information, it just makes the first step a lot easier. So it's developing that connection to discuss what they have a desire to do, which enables us to really develop a path that makes it advantageous for everybody.
So obviously, I assume, are you going to the game? But
I will be there.
Most importantly, what will you be doing?
That day, we obviously set up a lot of the things that you see around campus, whether that be the helmet tunnel. You'll see a lot of feather banners down Hannah Avenue, set up our tailgating with tailgating signs, and a lot of signage that you may see. Then when all that's completed, we have a little bit of a role at the start of the game, as well as the in-game, halftime. My role is to try to go see as many people as possible and to say hi, welcome, thanks for coming back, try to create those relationships. And as the game goes on, I will have somewhat of a responsibility, but collectively everybody in our department has certain roles that they have, without a doubt, to make the day successful. But as you can imagine, with as many people that are there, it's incredibly important to go around and obviously thank people and create relationships. So that's a lot of what I'll be doing come Saturday.
Well, thank you, Matt, for
Appreciate it.
joining
Thank
us.
you. Thanks so much.
And obviously, we have to thank Keith for joining us too. This has been Good Morning Greyhounds. I'm Adriana Ojeda.
And I'm Erin Rostron.